This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 949 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is an excerpt from the Horses in the Morning show. Glenn the Geek offers up a handy app for avoiding weather woes and a website to monitor your Twitter account. And we'll get right to it after this important message from EquestrianCollections.com. Hi, everybody. Coach Jen here from the Horse Radio Network, and I am here with Debbie from Equestrian Collections, and she's here with the Equestrian Collections Product of the Week. Take it away, Debbie.
Hi, Jen. This week I'm featuring color, and all your listeners who listen to me every month know how I love color. This week I'm featuring the Horse, Perry, Jumping, Bat, and Dressage Whip. And the reason I'm featuring these is the colors that comes in russet orange, it's bright orange, hot pink, beautiful blue.
Dang, I just went to the webpage. Woohoo!
Yeah. And but one thing I wanted to mention about the bat, it's not, jumping bats tend to be kind of short. This one is actually longer than some of the jumping bats that I have seen in the past. And so it's almost a crop. It's not quite a crop size, but almost a crop size without the wrist band. So you can actually use this for more than just a little bit of a jumping bat. It's more like it's a little bit longer than a regular bat and a little bit shorter than a crop. And it's got that. It's just really, really cool. As well as the bat, they also have dressage whips. Now, these whips are particularly long as well. I had to have the orange one, of course.
Of course.
So I got one of those. And I noticed it is actually longer than what you usually think of with dressage. So that has some good things, too, especially if you're doing some round pen work, but you don't want to do the whole big, lunge whip thing. It's really good for that. Very light. Very, very light and very bright. I'm telling you, if you are in a boarding barn and you have one of these, you're going to know if somebody takes your bat.
They're not only brightly colored, but they're shiny and brightly colored.
They're very, very cool. And they're very inexpensive. I mean, it's less than $11 for the dressage whip and less than $8 for the bat.
Great for riding schools and camps because you can tell which one is which one. And the kids are a lot less likely to misplace them.
You don't have to put a name on it.
That's right.
If you have an orange bat, it's going to be yours.
An orange bat is an orange bat is an orange bat. Well, you can go to EquestrianCollections.com, and up there in the great big search bar at the top of the page, you can just put Horse Perry, Horz as in zebra, Horse, and then space, and then Perry, and the search will bring right up both the jumping bat and the dressage whip. Well, thanks a bunch, Debbie. We'll see you next time.
I have my Geek Pick of the Week, and this is something that you don't have to tune out for, that you will actually understand. Okay? This is simple. It's very easy. It's very simple. It's something everybody can do. If you've got a smartphone, I have the best. And us horse people always worry about the weather because, we're always worried about the storms coming in and when the rain's coming. We're out on a trail ride. We need to know what the weather is. You're just planning to do your lessons for the day. You have to know what the weather is. Now, in your case, you don't have to check the radar so much because it's all just the same every day. It's just empty. But, for those of us that live in Florida where it changes every 5 minutes, or Kentucky or any other place in the country other than Phoenix and California, the weather does change every 5 minutes, and you need to know what's going on. Well, the best radar app I have found, and this was actually designed by friends of a geek friend of mine who actually helped us start our business back in the 1990s. He's a true geek. He makes me look like I don't know what I'm doing at all. He is a real geeky geek, and his friends started this, and the reason they started this weather app was to be more accurate in what's going to happen in the next 15 or 20 minutes. So it's called Radar Now. Just go to the iOS or Android store. It's free. It's called Radar Now, all one word, Radar Now. And it is by far the best radar app that I have ever used. you can actually make it animate past or future. So you can say, okay, what's happened in the past hour, or what's going to happen in the next hour. And this one you can get so down to detail. You can see your own road, and it really is clear, it's crisp. And when you hit the future button, it really shows you what's going to happen and whether that little storm cell is going to hit you exactly or not just the general area, but where you're at. And it pinpoints where you're at very accurately. It uses GPS to find where you're at. So if you're driving or whatever, it'll follow you. This is a darn nice app. It's better than the Weather Channel one or the other Weather Underground ones I've tried. It's called Radar Now. It's free. It's easy on any app store. So did you understand that one? I tried to get one simple for you this week.
I did understand it. However, I looked at online and I Googled it, Radar Now, and to look at some of the pictures. But it says they give you a 5-day free trial, or it is $4.99 for 2 years, which is still really cheap. But it also says
they charging for it now. Those bastards. No.
And also, it looks like is it on iPhones too, or is it just Android? Because it says something about Android. It doesn't say anything about it.
I thought it was iPhone too. I have an Android, and that's where I use it. You might be right, but I thought it was iPhones too. You can check. But I know it's on Android. So, no, it's in the App Store. It says available in the App Store right on my app. So, yeah, I didn't know they charged for it. When I got it, it was when it first came out, and they weren't charging yet. But it's worth it. I think it's worth it anyway. It is truly one of the best ones for seeing what's going to happen at where you're standing in the next half an hour.
My husband is a weather nerd, so I will definitely tell him about it.
Yeah. Yep. If you're a weather geek, you'll love this app. I know there's a lot of you that listen that have your own marketing companies and equine businesses and things, and one of the things we try and track and just keep track of is our statistics and our numbers. Well, one of the things that has become evident on Twitter is that there's a lot of people with a lot of followers who are just not real. So Twitter scamming has become a thing here recently in the tech community. So you'll see somebody with 100,000 followers, and about 80,000 of them are fake or are bots or just they're not active users or that kind of thing. Well, there's a way to check that now. There's actually a website called statuspeople.com that you can go on and you can put in your Twitter handle, and it will look into those Twitter accounts of everybody following you and see how often they have posted. It can see whether they're active or not. It can see whether they've engaged with you at all or responded to you or clicked on any of your links. And it can also see which ones are the fakers or the just not real accounts, the spam accounts. So I did that with ours. We have 11,000 followers on Horse Radio. And so of Twitter followers, Jamie, how many do you think are active? How many of ours do you think would be active? Actually, people who go on to Twitter, read it, and, interact with Twitter, make posts, that kind of thing. What percentage?
Well, when we first started this show, I set up a Twitter account, and I never go on it, or I'm one of those people that probably, was in the numbers of like, oh, this person doesn't exist. But what amazes me is I continue to get emails saying, you've got a new follower, this person and this person and this person. And so I probably have a couple hundred followers that aren't people that I know, and that's probably all of them. So I would say out of 11,000, I would say half.
You're right. Actually, that's right. And what they're showing nationally is that
really
out of about 30% will with normally the average is about 30% will be active, about 60% will be inactive, just haven't been on Twitter in 100 days or so, and then the other percentage are just fake. And that fake number goes up the higher, like you get into the celebrity realm where they have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million followers, and they're active on Twitter. But their followers, what they're finding with them is the higher the numbers get, the less that are real.
Really?
So, yeah. So now ours came out above average. Ours was about 50% active. So that was above average. I kind of expected that because I figured if a horse person is on there and they bothered to take the time to do it, there's going to be people like you, that's about 30%, who just don't do anything and never checked it again. But if you're on there and you're doing some posting, you're going to be active. You're a horse person that put some effort into it. We're going to have a higher percentage is what I thought, and that was true. Now, what does this all mean? Well, it probably means something to people who have larger numbers who are trying to sell advertisers and things like that, where they're putting posts up for advertisers. For ones in our range, it's just an interesting statistic, but it is also kind of depressing when you take a look at it. You think, I got it.
What type of loser-ass people do this for a living? It's crazy. I mean, they I'm going to be a fake Twitter. Who does that?
You can pay, there are companies out there, you can pay a company to sign up Twitter followers for you. And they have these legions of people, all with different names, and they'll just go through and they sign up as your follower. You can pay and you can buy them on eBay. And you buy them by the thousand. So you pay them a certain amount of money, and in the next week you're going to have 1,000 new followers.
Now, is there a way, excuse me for not knowing Twitter, but is there a way to make people not follow you, like delete them? Like, say I had an ex-boyfriend who was on my Twitter, and I'm, tweeting all the time about how awful he is. I don't want him to see it, so can I, block him?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I've never tried to block anybody from Twitter. You can't, obviously Facebook, you have total control over that, but Twitter, I don't know.
So I'll just rip my ex-boyfriends on Facebook then.
That's right. That's where you want to do it. Statuspeople.com if you're curious about your Twitter account. That's my
cool.
pick of the week. You understood that one, see?
I did.
Well, there you go. You can listen to Horses in the Morning every weekday at horsesinthemorning.com, or you can have every one of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go with the free Horse Radio Network app for iPhone and Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. This podcast has been made possible through the generous support of EquestrianCollections.com and listeners like you. That's right. Folks who enjoy the great podcasts on Horse Radio Network can support their favorite programs by supporting our sponsors like EquestrianCollections.com and also by becoming an official auditor. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support the Horse Radio Network programs and qualify for cool auditors-only perks. You can learn more at horsetipdaily.com. Look for the Become an Auditor banner on the center of the page. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.